Right, this time we're going to actually upload some data from the Australian Faunal directory, and we are going just a small data set it will be to try and make it simple. So I'll start sharing my screen and share, thank you. And we've already put up the holiday, but I'm going to go there to the checklist because I'm going to pick out some frogs that are close to the holiday. So let's have a crack at putting up the Bufonidae. Let's see if, oh, that's probably a bit small. We're not going to put up the Bufonidae. Let's try, we won't do that. Take a look in Reptilia. Is there anything much in Crocodilia? Not all that much. I wonder whether this is reasonable. Subclass Archosaura. That's all there. What about the turtles? Okay, that looks a bit more like it. Let's see what we can get with testudines. So we'll take a look. We'll grab that. Oh, actually, I don't need to do that. I'm going to go back. And that, of course, takes me to the item in Australian Faunal directory. And at this point, I'm going to see whether I can get a names list for the, and I can, which is great. So I'm going to pull it down in CSV format, and I'm going to save it. And I'm just going to put it in my downloads because that's probably, I'll destroy it once I've put it up. So save, and I'm going to look at it. Now, I'm going to copy it into another sheet, Control C, give myself a new sheet, because I'm going to remove all kinds of stuff, and I don't like destroying stuff without saving it. I'm going to save this as an Excel file, just because I've got two sheets on it, and so it makes sense to save it all together in one go. I need to pick this out and save it as an Excel file. Save. And I'm on this sheet. I know I'm not going to put up these two columns. So I'll go to Home and I'll shift my face. Thank you. And I'm going to choose to delete these sheet columns. I don't want them. I'm also going to delete all the sheet columns after original combination, because I know I'm not going to use those in my, oops, let's grab them again, in my upload. Keep on going, keep on going. You can see this. Okay, we're going to delete those columns, delete sheet columns. We're now going to subset this because we do not want to put up anything other than valid names. So I'm going to click on the whole show there, go to Data and choose Filter. And that allows me to see what I've got in the name column. So I'm going to have a look at that. Now, that's got more things than I want. I don't want common names. I don't want generic combinations. I don't want synonyms. I only want valid names. So at this point, I'm going to deselect all. I'm going to pick out common names, generic combinations, and synonyms. And I'm going to go OK. I probably should keep generic synonyms. No, I'm going to just leave it at that. That's fine. And these are the ones I'm going to delete. And you can see they're all in blue there. So all I've got to do is grab the rows. So we're going to go down as far as I need to go to delete these. Okay, it's only to about 300, which isn't too bad. I need to go to Home, And now I pick out delete, and I need to pick out delete sheet rows, which makes everything bare. So I need to come back to name and show them all again. Select all, and I'm only putting up valid names. Oops, there we go. Okay. So now we've got valid names. That's great. And amongst these valid names, I really only want to put up, as we've talked about before, I only want to put up genera and species. I don't want subgenera, I don't want orders, I don't want families. So I'm going to go, I'm going to select the ones I don't want. So get rid of that. I don't want family. I don't want order. I do want species. I don't want subgenus, and I certainly don't want subspecies. I'm going to go OK. And again, I'm going to grab those. And again, I'm going to delete them. So I need to go to Home and choose Delete Sheet Rows. Beautiful. Now I want to see them all again. So let's take a look at seeing them all again. Select all, genus and species. Terrific. Okay, what have we got there? Let's see. Oh, that's not too bad. That's 49. So that's a pretty good basis for an example. We're not going to be trying to put too much stuff up, which is good. I need to jot down what we're putting up, and it's testudines. So let's do that. And now let's go into, I'm going to go file save, obviously. We've done, oh, hang on. No, that's all we want to do. That's brilliant. Okay, close. Great. We don't need this open anymore. In fact, we don't need most of this open at all. So I'm going to get rid of a lot of tabs, I think, at this stage. Oh, shall I bother? No, I'll leave it. I want, however, to pull in OpenRefine now, because this is the way in which I'm going to upload my data. I'm going to try to find the matching names in Wikidata, and I'm going to construct various fields to allow me to put up the Australian Faunal Directory IDs and the taxon author citations to already existing Wikidata items. Come on. It's taking a while. I might delete a few of these things while we're at it. We don't really need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. What else are we getting rid of? Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We've looked at that. We've looked at that. We don't want to look at that. Okay, and we don't want to look at that. We want to look here. Okay, so here's my OpenRefine. I need to choose a file, and the file I want to choose is the one that I have just created, and it's in the downloads directory, and there it is, testudines XLSX. I'm going to go next here, and of course I've got two sheets, and so it's taking a bit of time because I've got to work out. I don't want the first sheet because that was my complete data set. I certainly don't want to store blank rows. I don't want that. That looks halfway decent, I think. It seems to be reproducing much of what I thought I had, so I'm going to create the project. And I'd like to see everything, so I'm going to hit the 50 rows. It's more helpful. Now, in this, I could use, oh, I should have removed this column. It's a real nuisance, this column. Edit column, I'm going to remove this column. Great. Now, the scientific name you'd think would be where I would start, but I'm not going to, because this is the scientific name, and it's the full scientific name with the authority as well. There's absolutely no doubt about these names. We know who the authority is. We know the date they wrote their stuff and all that. But this is sort of quite hard to disentangle. It's actually much easier to work from the genus and the species. And given that we know that we're only putting up things as far as species, we can construct the species name. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to use OpenRefine to join genus with species, and we're going to ignore subgenus. I probably should have deleted that column for coming up as well. We might do that now. It's an edit on the column, and we are going to remove the column. Great. All right, so let's join genus with species. And to do that, I click there. I'm editing columns. I'm joining columns. So up comes a little, it's nice. We've given the one that I first clicked on, and now I've got to choose the second column. I know it's species, so I'll click there. And then it says, how do I want to join them? Well, I want to join them with a space between them. I'll put in a space. I don't want to destroy those two columns. I want to write the result in a new column, which I am going to call taxon name. And I'm going to go OK. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, and it's fairly handy, I'm going to create the AFD ID. Now, I know the AFD IDs. Let's take a look at them. Doesn't matter what it is. They all start with biodiversity, da-di-da-di-dum, up to taxa. And thereafter, it's, well, this is the part that's constant. And so I'm going to put that in. And, oh, sorry, I better show it for one particular one. Let's take a look at that. Let's go to Calcarea, God, order. We don't want an order, we want a family. Let's try this one here. And you can see there's the taxon name. It just follows straight after it. If I had gone to, let's go back. If I'd actually gone to, try again. If I, oh, here we go. Let's choose something in here. Okay, let's take a look at what the ID is. This part here is the ID that we're going to create in OpenRefine. We don't have to copy all of these things going one by one. We can just construct them because we know the shape of all of our identifiers, and we know the shape of the URL. So we will construct them rather than look them up. So going back to our OpenRefine, we're going to construct a column based on this column taxon name. And so it's edit column. We're not joining a column, we're adding a column based on this column. The column we're going to add is called AFD ID. And we're going to, oops, oh, blast. Oh, that's okay. I'll just go okay, that's fine. What I did was a bit silly. I'm going to actually edit this column because I want that underscore between the genus name and the epithet and the species epithet. So we're editing not the column, we're editing the content of the column. So we're editing the cells, and I'm going to transform them. And I'm going to transform the value by replacing the blank with an underscore. Now it's popped up. It's looking good except for the genera, but that's all right. We'll get to that in a wee moment. Let's shift my face again, which is a nuisance. We're going to say OK. And we've now got these with the underscore. Now, we want to correct these because the genera are wrong. That isn't quite the ID. It will get you there, but it's not right. So let's fix this up. Now, one of the things that will help us fix it up is we have this lovely capacity in OpenRefine to facet on, or to subset on another, another column. So the column we're going to use is rank, and I'm going to do what they call a text facet, and it tells me there are 15 rows represent genera, and 33 rows represent species. So I'm going to pick these. I'm just going to include the, let's see, we've got 48 rows, terrific, and I'm going to only include the genera. Now, the nice thing about OpenRefine is that if you select out a group, then anything you do edits only that group. So I'm going to only edit the genera stuff, and I'm going to change those underscores for all of these AFD IDs. So let's do that. So I'm going to go edit cells, and I'm going to transform, and I'm going to do another value dot replace. And this time, I'm going to replace the underscore with a null. And that looks a lot better. I'm going to go OK. And let's see what we've achieved. Well, they look all right, but have I managed to muck up anything? Let's have a look, and let's go to reset all. And that brings me back to all my 48 rows, which is what I wanted. And as you can see, these are all okay. So that's looking good. So at this point, we're going to now create a new column. And that new column is going to be the URLs for the AFD identifiers. So let's do that. And we're going to go to edit column. We're going to add a column based on this column. And the new column name is going to be AFD underscore URL. And this time we're going to add some text to it. And if you remember, oops, wrong thing, Margaret. We didn't want that. We wanted Australian Faunal directory. And we want just that part of the URL. And coming back to our OpenRefine, we're going to put that in as text. So I need a quote, then a copy, then a quote, and a plus. And it's as simple as that to create new text. So I've added this, and I've now generated the full string that we want for our AFD ID. So I'm going to put that in. All right, so we're nearly there. We're nearly in a position to put up our AFD identifiers. Well, we're not quite. We've got another thing that we want to do. We want to create our taxon author citation. Now, we've got two fields for that. That's looking helpful. We've got the author here, and we've got the year. Now, I know that in general, if I convert this from numeric, and I can see it's numeric because it's right justified. If I convert it, edit cells, it's a common transform. I want to commonly transform it to text. And as you can see, it's done in a rather horrid way. I've got to point naught on it. So I'm going to, that's not going to be how I want to join it to my author. So I'm going to modify that. So we're going to go to edit cells again, and we're going to transform again, and we're going to do another value dot replace. So we're going to replace something within our value, and here we go, replace. What I want to replace is, put in the quotes, no, quote point naught, and I want to replace that with a null. And that looks good. So let's hit the OK button. That's looking good, and I can now start to think about creating my author citation. So let's do that. Oh, the reason I'm only creating an author citation is that names, there's a lot of variation of names. They should be common between databases. They are not. So because it's just a text string, I'm putting it up as a text string that is faithful to this database. It may not be exactly match what another database says. It may or may not. I'm going to be faithful to this database and just put it up as a string that Australian Faunal Directory says it was defined by Fitzinger. So let's do that now. Again, we're going to join columns. So we're going to create a new column by joining columns. One of the columns is author, the other is year, when I find it. There we go, year, fabulous. Okay, the separator this time is going to be comma space. I am going to have a new column, so write the result to a new column. The new column I'm going to call citation. And I'm not going to delete my joined columns, that's fine. Okay, so I've now got my citation, or have I? I haven't quite. I'm close to it. I still have 48 rows, which is great. This column, which has come over the original, is this the original combination or is it not? Now, if it's not the original combination, I should put this citation in brackets. And you can see that, of course, over here. Oh, hang on. Here's one that's bracketed. So that was not an original combination. So let's do another facet here based on, let's check, we've got all 48 rows, terrific. So we're ready to facet. We're not subsetting a subset, we're subsetting the full set, which is what we want. And we've got 17 that are new combinations and Y, which are, and we've got 21, oh, just can't read, 31, which are the original combinations according to our database. And that's all we're putting up. This is all according to that. That's why we're going to put up a reference, which we've got here, AFD URL. And so we're going to subset by this. So we're just going to include those for the moment, and that gives us 17 rows. And now we can safely edit just these 17 rows. So what are we going to do with them? We're going to edit the cells in citation. So edit cells, and we're going to do a transform. It's a very simple one. We're going to add some text. So same way as we did before, quote, left-hand bracket, quote, plus value, go to the end of that, plus closing bracket, quote, and Bob's your uncle. So there we have it. And we're going to go, okay. And we want to see all of our rows. So let's go to them all. I have to go reset to do that. And that shows me all our rows. And let's take a look at what we achieved. We've got Fitzinger, original combination, no brackets, original combination, no brackets. This is not the original combination, yes, brackets. So that's looking good. All right, so let's think now about creating our schema to create the wikidata that just adds our Australian Faunal Directory ID to our, before we do that, we really do need to do this task, and that is we need to reconcile. Now, that's really a process of matching this identifier to an element in another database or in a database. And the database we're interested in joining it to, reconciling it to as an identifier is Wikidata. Now, Wikidata is clever enough to have worked out that we're talking about trying to reconcile a taxon to a taxon. I think this, oh, it's only 40. I'm going to do it that way. It can pose problems. Let's just go with that for the moment. Start reconciling. And this should not take all that long because we've only got 49. So we're just trying to find the matching Wikidata name. And this can take a bit of a while because it's got to search through all of Wikidata to find the matching names. But this is part of the process of uploading. It's got to find what it's to match it to when we add in these extra pieces of information to our Wikidata. How are we going? We're up to 62. That's not too bad. We're nearly there. What we're going to do next is what's called create a schema. Now, we've got a thing that says this is matching 100%. That's genus of reptiles. What are we doing? Are we? Let's take. Oh yes. What's this one? This is extinct suborder of mollusks. So we certainly don't want that. Calidina we know it's not a subgenus because we know we're not putting up any subgenera. So it's not that. So I think, yes, I did. I chose Testudinae, so it is in this thing here. Now we're just going to match on one because we hope we're only putting up one. Those have all been automatically matched. Here we've got a choice. Let's see what we want. Now you can see somebody's probably put this up as a synonym, but the one we're after is this one because that's our name, Fuchinglai. I can't read, that's the problem. Oblonga, we're going to match on that one. Now again, this is a genus name and we've got lots and lots of choices, so let's read them. Genus of reptiles, that looks promising. It looks very much like a tortoise kind of thing. What's this one? Subgenus, that's not what we want. So it's the genus. Terrific, we've matched those. Let's have a look at this. Macquarii, double I, yes, that looks good. And you can see that probably there's a whole pile here where somebody said, oh, this is an alias, oh, this is the same thing as, and there is a problem. I try to match on the exact scientific name because after all, I'm putting up the authority and the authority only matches to the scientific name, not to the synonyms. So Emidura Macquarii is the one we're going to match it to. Terrific, done. We don't want to create a new item, but aha. Now, one of the things I do at this point, I actually want to create some new items, but not in my first round of putting up stuff. Now, this is clearly not found a match because it's only offering me to create a new item. We're going to take a look here, and I want to just facet this because I think it's an empty set of thingos. Let's take a look if it is. It is. They're all blank in this subspecies. And in any case, we're not using this field. So I'm going to rename this, which is an edit on a column. I'm going to rename the column switch because I'm going to, come on, Margaret, use this column as a switch to find the elements that I probably need, that I want later on to create new items for. So I'm actually going to put up this whole pile of Testudinae in two goes. I'm going to put up the ones which match. After I don't want to put up the names again, and that can be a problem because if you don't have exactly the same data, you get a doubling up on the name and it really looks very ugly and it's very confusing to anybody reading it. So I'm going to leave the names as is, regardless. I'm going to create that as a switch. Now I got down to where we had got down to create new item there. I'm going to plonk in, I want to switch, yes, because I just want to separate these out and it's easier if I keep track of them as I'm reconciling. So I haven't asked to create a new item. This one does have a match, and we have two choices, and you can see that one of those might be, well, we don't know. Our valid name could be a later recombination, or it could be the very earliest one, but we will match it to the name, which we have, which is nice. And again, we'll match it to the name, so we'll match it to the second one there. This is the kind of thing I really hate. Pig-nosed turtle. I am going to go and look at this, and I probably will change it because that's a common name, and very often, if it's the only thing that occurs, this should be popping up here, pig-nosed turtle. Oh yes, look at it. It's got several common names, and so I'm going to edit the label. And this changes nothing really. It just makes it easier for people to see what you're talking about. This is the unique name that some scientist has described and made a scientific name for. And that's after all what we're trying to put up there. So I'm going to modify this. I'm going to plonk that there, Control V. I'm going to grab the pig-nosed turtle part, Control C and delete. And I'm going to put that in there. And there you can see the names aren't particularly common. So there we go. Right. Careticulus in Sculptor. Terrific. All right, we want to save that by publishing it. We won't see it at all by this time we go back to our OpenRefine. There we go. But that was it. And you can see that we want to match not on the species, but on the genus. So we'll do a tick there, which is terrific. The pig-nosed turtle's already joined, which is fabulous. Great. What one do we want here? We want, if we can find it, the genus. And that looks like it. And it looks definitely like a turtle of some description. So, oops, no, that's Caretta. Yes, Caretta is good. Tick. Here we want that. Oh, genus of insect. That's certainly not what we want. Genus of reptiles is the one we want. Let's just check. Genus of insects is the second one. Genus of reptiles is what we want. This is a problem in animals, provided you're in the separate order or a separate. I'm not quite sure at what point that you can double up on genera names, but on genus names, but you can, and they're not invalid. So one does need to check that as one's going through. Have we matched? Oh, look at that. That is just revolting. We are going to modify that. Oh no, it's a species of turtle. Let's see how many kinds of turtles we have there. Yes, well, at least we've only got one scientific name. Again, I'm going to swap them. Other people may have a different view, and they can edit it back. I think it's really silly not to. You can. I think there's some rule in English Wikipedia that says, please name your article by its common name, which I think is fairly silly, but nonetheless, that's apparently standard for Wikipedia. But it doesn't make much sense in Wikidata, I don't think, because we are trying to add a whole series of features that actually match to the scientific name. They don't match to the common name. Control C. So let's put this up here. Control V. Okay, grab this part here. Control C and delete. Great. Oops. I needed turtle and I didn't get it. What a pity. Control V. Leatherback sea turtle is what we wanted. Lovely. Nice description of it, but you know, if somebody's in the area, they point to the turtle and they say, that's a leatherback sea turtle. Well, actually, if you're pointing to a particular one, it's probably a particular species of leatherback sea turtle rather than some, oh, well, actually, we are species here, so that's fine. Stop rabbiting on, Margaret. Back we go to Testudinate, and we now are ready to actually create a schema for our OpenRefine to enable us to upload these AFD IDs. And so we're going to go to Wikidata here, and it says we're going to manage a schema. So off we go. Edit a Wikidata schema. And we've got a list of all of our columns. And the first thing that we have to do is add a term. And this is the bit that's actually going to grab the Wikidata item and add it into this Wikidata item. And the term that we've reconciled, we must have it. Our term must be a column that's been reconciled, and that's the one. And now we need to add some items. Oh, at this stage, because I'm not creating anything new, I haven't put in any aliases, and I haven't put in a description. I will do later for my new ones, but at this stage, we're just creating a schema for existing Wikidata items. The term is the label, and the language of the label is English. So we pick English, and the label name is the taxon name. And of course, we're not going to override. We're going to just let it be as it is. Now we're going to make some statements, 2 statements only. We're going to say that the Australian Faunal directory, oops, if I could spell it, Australian Faunal directory, not the publication ID, but the identifier for a taxon, is found in this column here. Terrific. And we're going to add a reference, and the reference is just a URL. And I'm going to put that in as that. And I'm going to add another bit. I'm going to add retrieved, which is a bit naughty because we didn't retrieve it, we actually created it. And that's the format I've got to put this in. The date is 2021. The month is October. Oops. Oh, retrieved. Yep, that's fine. We need to be in the field, don't we, before we start writing 2021. 2021, month 10, day 22. Beautiful. Okay, that's all set to go. So that's one of the things we're putting up. The other thing we're putting up is the taxon author citation for this scientific name. And this is the property we want. And we spent a bit of time creating that. That was the citation. Now, it'd be really nice if we could just say copy, as we can if we were actually working in Wikidata, but we actually have to add it again, reference URL. And here it is popping up. Grab my reference URL, which is the AFD URL. And we'll be really very good about saying when we retrieve this property, RETRIEVED. And again, it's the same month and year, 2021, 10th month, day 22. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, so we have created a schema. Let's see if we've actually achieved anything at all. Let's take a preview. All right, so our label is Kelladina. That's our author citation, and that's our Australian Faunal Directory ID. Let's see if we have a reference. That's looking good. So, and that was the same reference, we think. Yes, that's looking good. 22nd of October 2021. So all of that is looking good. We're adding this to existing things. We have no issues. Right, no issue is detected in my edits. So I will do something here. This is a very simple edit. It's a minimal effort, minimal edit for Australian Faunal Directory, and I'm going to save it. So I'm going to export my schema. Oops. And I'm going to save it in the same place. Schema, AFD, minimal. I think that's fine. If I could spell minimal. We are having trouble spelling here. Minimal, that looks better. Minimal, great. And I'm going to say save. Beautiful. Okay. And we're going to come back to there. And there was no issue detected, so we're going to upload these. So let's go back to Wikidata, and we can upload the edits. Now, it's simpler to just go upload edits, I think, rather than use export to quick statements. So that's what we're going to choose. We get connected. We do need to name the edit so that it can be reverted if we've made a total boo-boo, or so we can find them again and edit them, whatever. Handy to do it as a batch. It is good to be able to destroy a total batch or upload as a total batch. So we name it. This was testudinase. So testudinase from AFD. And I'm going to upload these edits. And you can see that we're performing a Wikibase edits, and it's a slow old process because we are actually editing our way through those 40, not 48, because we know we've got at least one, I think, new item to create. So we're getting there. I think I probably should stop here. Oh no, I'm going to do one more thing. When they get up, I am going to verify that all is functioning as one would wish it to be, that in fact these are IDs, that they are looking good in our fields. And we might in fact, because these are existing data items, existing Wikidata items, many of them will have articles. After all, you know, a leather-headed sea turtle is a pretty big animal. Someone will have written its description in English Wikipedia. Okay, so they've all gone up. Let's go to user Margaret Donald, and let's go to contributions. Come on, come on, come on, contributions. There they are. So there are all our additions to these things. Let's check our leatherback sea turtle. And come on, my friend, leatherback sea turtle. Oh, right, this is one that I possibly didn't change, who knows. Boom, boom, we've got all of those identifiers. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. We've got a picky, great. Domenico Vandelli in 1761. So let's hope that's what we've also managed to put up. Lots of common names. All the way through. Goodness me. Well. Eventually, you can see it's a well-loved animal. There we go. There's our effort there. Vandelli, 1761. So we know it's actually changed its genus since it was first described by Vandelli. I bet that's us that we put that up then. Let's have a look. Yes, that's the one we put up. And we're going to check that we did put up the AFDID. Oh, why can't I see it? Oh, there we go. Australian Faunal directory. Terrific. Let's see whether it takes us to where we want it to be. Whoops. That's beautiful. And the bracketing is right. All is lovely. We have the name of the original. That's the document he wrote by. And we probably have where it gets changed to Dermacellus, whatever, Dermacellus. There we go. No, Atlantica, Porcata. We're going to find it. Dermacellus. No. This is the basis of the synonymization, at least for the Australian scientists who work on turtles and stuff. There's several bases. And so we have a German reference in 1977. We have Smith and whoever. And so there's obviously quite a bit of work that's gone into saying these are all the same. Because after all, we have several different names there. We have Sparcus mercurialis, an Atlantica, a Porcata, Schlegelii. This is a subspecies. So there's a lot of work in determining that these are all synonymous. So not surprisingly, we've got 3 references for synonymy. So that's a lovely, lovely basis for writing the taxonomic part of this sea turtle. Well, let's see what in fact we've got if we go back to our leatherback sea turtle, because I'm pretty certain that it will have an article, given that we've got 10,000 common names. It would be very surprising if it had. Oh, look at it. There it is. It's covered right across so many, many Wikipedias, which is very great. So there's our leatherback sea turtle. Come on, my friend. Okay, there he is. Probably a girl. Never mind. Okay, we've basically got a description there. Let's see if we've got a taxonomy. We do have a taxonomy. So there we go. There's quite a lot of detail. It's quite a detailed article. And what we have done by putting in that, oops, not there, keep on going down, down, down. We have actually managed, oh no, that's interesting. There we go. Oh, that's very curious. It must be, there we go. So but we've put in a very, very useful resource if one wanted to update that article. And we know it's gone up safely, so that is all very well and good. And we are going to stop sharing now because we've checked, in part, we haven't checked all 48 of them. Well, the ones that we put up, because one of that 48 was at least a new species. And we'll show what we do for our next thing in our next episode of this. So we're going to stop our sharing for this moment, and we're going to stop recording. Where are we? Stop recording. There. Stop recording.